Hello my Foonatics, it's Fufu here, and today we have got the draft analysis for Mewcastle United in the PPL. I am very excited about this. I really like these Pokemon, and I hope you guys will too. Also, I built the whole thing around one Pokemon that I picked very last. So I want to see how long it takes for you guys to realize what that Pokemon might be. So let me know as we go along, because I don't think I made it, like, I didn't try to hide or anything, but at the same time it's not obvious straight away. So let's see if you can guess what that last Pokemon might be. How the PPL works, I'll just go through that again, is that you have £110 million to spend on Pokemon, on 8 to 11 Pokemon that range in price from like 1 or 2 million to £20 million is the maximum, although nothing actually costs that much. But that's the scale of things. And also it's a draft, so basically we go in order, people picking Pokemon, and if someone picks it, you can't pick it. That's how it goes. I was 7th in the draft, which in my opinion is probably the worst place to be in the entire draft, because you're in the middle, which if you're at either end, because it goes like one way down the line and then the other way down the line, if you're at the end, then you get a pick there and then a pick straight after, so you can guarantee 2 Pokemon that go together. You can get some synergy straight away. Whereas if you're in the middle, you can't guarantee anything. You can't pick something and then pick another one straight away at any point. There are always about 12 people, 12 picks after you, so it's harder. You have to react, you'll get sniped a bit more in the middle, but at the same time, being 7th is the wrong side of the middle, because you won't get your first pick. You're less likely to get your first pick than the 6th person who gets a better first pick. So I think 7th is probably the worst place to be in the entire draft. But I'm not going to be a victim about it, because I got a great draft anyway. But it just so happens that my first choices did get sniped, unfortunately. I was really wanting to get Latias, because I love the support that it gives. I love its versatility. It can be versatile defensively or offensively, and it's just a really cool Pokemon that I really like. That went. I also would have been happy with Mew, but that had already been picked before Latias. I knew that it was going to be hard to try and get, but I thought maybe one of the 2 out of 6 picks before me wouldn't have gone, but they both went. So I had to reevaluate my draft kind of initially. I had done a lot of plans, so it wasn't the worst case scenario, and I did know what I want. And so my first pick in the PPL draft is Jirachi. Now, there were a number of reasons why I did this. An obvious replacement for Latias you'd have thought would be Latios, but it's versatile in a different way. It's not as bulky, whereas Jirachi can be versatile in bulk and in offense. So that's why I would prefer Jirachi to Latios. What Jirachi gives me is plenty of support options, a really cool typing. Offensively, it's very versatile, great move pool, and it's just a really cool mon, and it's always a win condition. If you bring a Scarf Jirachi with Iron Head, you can win pretty much anything if you get lucky enough. Not that I'm saying that I'm going to go down that tactic, and I don't want people to say, to like hate on me for that, because that's not why I picked Jirachi. I wanted it because it's a very versatile mon that can perform lots of roles, which is very good in this format. Yeah. That I'm very happy with Jirachi. Some people say it's not worth the first round pick, but I wouldn't have got it if I didn't pick it first round, and it does the job that I want it to do. So that's why I picked Jirachi when I did. So moving on from there, the next pick was a Pokemon that I really like. I think is awesome in the draft format, and that is Nidoqueen. Why I like it is because the sheer force ability and its coverage is very frightening offensively, but it does have great defensive stats, and it gives you plenty of hazard options, which is brilliant. But most of all, why I like Nidoqueen is it's a strong, independent blue woman that needs no man. So that's cool. That's the kind of representation I want on Mewcastle United, so do it for the female, sister. I was also very happy about this because I sniped Shardy. Nidoqueen at second choice may again seem quite early to pick it, but it's really cheap in this format. It's only 13 points, which is a steal in my opinion, and Pokemon that are cheap and good I thought would probably go early, which is kind of the place. Something of such value as Nidoqueen, I was very happy to get it when I did. The next pick was... at this point, I was seeing that fairies were being picked up quite quickly. Also, because I'm a nice little Smogon boy, I like my hazards, and I also like my hazard removal. So I wanted some form of defog. And just thinking about it, I realised that in terms of typing, the synergy between Jirachi and Togekiss is great. So that was actually my third pick. Anything that Togekiss is weak to, apart from electric type, Jirachi resists, and I've already got an electric immunity, so that's pretty great. What I also like about Togekiss is its huge special attack stat, and the ability to boost that with Nasty Plot. It's got some really cool support moves as well, and it's just a very good Pokemon in general. So I really like the Togekiss pick. I think it fits the team brilliantly. Really happy about that. And honestly, it didn't occur to me until much later on that I had just drafted two of the most disgusting Serene Grace abusers in the game. I'm not saying that I'm going to use that tactic or like abuse it, but I'm definitely going to bring in the stab moves, which just so happen to have a chance to flinch. I always say that I wouldn't try to use hacks to win because that's not competitive, you cannot rely on it, and it's a stupid way to go about things. But at the same time, these two are going to give me a fighting advantage because I have a chance to stop the opponent moving or getting other hacks with other moves, and that's always a useful tool to have. It's not something to rely on, but it could just so go ahead and aid me in some of my battles. So that's really good. The synergy is great as well. That's the main reason why I picked it. Please don't hate on me. The next pick, we are moving on to Jolteon. The reason I picked this Pokemon is because I think it's an absolute steal. It's only 8 points for something with 130 base speed and 110 special attack. It's an incredible revenge killer, and it can Volt Switch around as well. It's really good. Something that will probably be overlooked by a lot of team prep, and I think it's going to do really well this season. It was, if we hark back to GBA Season 1, when the draft format was very new, it was the MVP of the whole season because it just got so many kills. It's really, really good. You bring it in if something of yours goes down, you can bring it in, get a kill. It's so good. Very happy with Jolteon for the price. Really great. So anyway, we're looking pretty good now, and I was very happy with my pick so far. But this is where a big kind of snipe happened, and I wasn't very happy about it initially, because I was hoping to pick up Drugon. It would complete a Fairy Steel Dragon core with Jirachi and Togekiss. Drugon again gives some support moves. It's bulky. It's very powerful. It's got some priority and Sucker Punch, another Stealth Rock user, and some really nice abilities too. I like the rough skin option to deter physical attackers. I really, really liked the idea of Drugon, but it was picked up by Shardy, who I had previously sniped with Nidoqueen, so I can't really be too upset. But yeah, that went. However, my replacement for that, I think, is one of the best picks of my entire draft. It completely changed everything. And that is Tyrantrum, because it's my thing where I can be like, where is your switch in for this? And most people find it hard to answer. It's terrifying. Banded Tyrantrum has very few switch-ins, and it also has the opportunity to set up with Dragon Dance or such moves. It's really cool. Again, it has Stealth Rock too. It's able to take fire type attacks, which is something that I was slightly worried about at this point. And it's just really cool. Very happy with Tyrantrum, and I'm actually probably happier with Tyrantrum than I would have been with Drugon because it's so much more of a threat. It's terrifying, and people will have to... That's probably the scariest thing on my draft and that people have to prepare for. So very, very happy with the big dragon. Yeah. Moving swiftly on, I decided to pick up something that I had planned on picking up from very early. It's something that needs support and maybe was a bit of a surprise to people, but this thing is going to be very valuable, and it's also going to be another thing that will give opponents a lot of headaches when trying to prepare for my team, and that is Talonflame. I'm really excited to use this thing in draft format. I think that it has so much potential, but it's definitely very skill-based. If you pick it up and you aren't used to using it, or you don't have the support to use it, or you're not very good at team building with it, then it definitely can struggle. But if you do have that support, if you do know how to use it, I think it could be a monster, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how I do with it. If I don't do very well, then I think that's all on me, because I think Talonflame has all of the abilities to make it great, and I'm very looking forward to giving it a go. So very excited about that. After picking up Talonflame, I know that my draft was a bit weak to Scald. I wanted a Scald switch in, so I was then looking at Guts, fighting types. I still had a lot of points to spend, so there were a few that I could look at. But I actually thought that I ended up going for one of the best value mons there, which is Hariyama, the big fat guy, because he is just so good value in terms of the abilities that you are then able to use. He can perform a lot of roles just because of the abilities, and by a lot of roles it's mainly like an offensive switching role, but the abilities really give you the edge there. Guts is great because it gives me the Scald switching. He's got great bulk, he's got great power, and some really good moves to be able to abuse. I mean, there's the knockoff there. Knockoff is a great move to have, and I didn't have it on my team yet, so that was definitely something that I was happy in picking up. Just a very good mon. Again, maybe overlooked in team prep because I've got some bigger threats, but Hariyama is hard to take down, so very happy about that. So now we're getting to the end stage of the draft. I don't have as many points to spend, and there were still a few things that I felt I lacked. The next pick is a Pokemon that I've really liked ever since its release in Generation 6, and that is Gourgeist. It fills a number of roles that I really wanted on my team, namely a grass type, something a bit more defensive as well, seeing as though I didn't really have. I have a lot of bulk, but this thing has reliable recovery and it's defensive, and that's really cool. So I wanted that, and also a ghost type for spin blocking because I have the hazards. I have a number of things that can set up stealth rocks. I also have potential toxic spikes. So I wanted a spin blocker to try and keep those hazards up because hazards can be so vital, even in Draft League. In fact, even more so in Draft League, I think, it's really crucial. So I wanted a spin blocker. I love Gourgeist. The fact that I can use all the different forms is brilliant because it just means that it's even harder to predict around in the battle. They will have to be looking on their screen and thinking, is this a big Gourgeist or is this a tiny Gourgeist? And I just love the idea of that. So that's really cool. There are a number of support moves. Even without using Synthesis, it's got great recovery because you can use Lefties and Leech Seed, and it's just really great. I'm looking forward to using Gourgeist a lot, and it's only 5 points. 5 points is nothing. I can't believe it. I was so happy to get this thing. So now we've only got 21 points left, and that is not many, especially with what I'm hoping to do with it. So the next things that I was prioritizing was the fact that I didn't have as many psychic type switch-ins. Really, Jirachi was the only thing that was resisting it at this stage, which is fine, but all they have to do is carry a ghost type move like Shadow Ball that pretty much all psychic types learn, and then they're good. So that's not something that I was particularly happy about. So I decided to pick up a dark type, and there weren't too many bulky dark types left for the price range that I was looking at. But one thing I did like was Liepard, and I liked Liepard because of the stab knockoff that it gets, the speed, 106 speed, and the priority, not just in Sucker Punch, but also in Prankster. It's able to support my team very well, and I didn't realise all the tricks that it had up its sleeve until I specifically looked at it for this draft. It's got loads of really cool moves that I can try and use. I know some of the strategies that some of my friends have used in the past that I could try and use. I think it's a wicked Pokemon. I've liked this Pokemon for a long time, and yeah, I do think that I can hopefully use it to my advantage. It's definitely going to be more of a surprise Pokemon, but I am planning on bringing it. Nothing in this draft I'm planning to use everything. If I draft something that I don't use, that is wasted points that I could have put in elsewhere. So I definitely plan on using Liepard. So watch out for that week when I bring my Liepard. And finally, we have got there, the big reveal. This is my final Pokemon. I'm spending my 16 points on the last Pokemon. You may realise that I do not have a Mega yet, and there are a number of roles also on this team that I have not yet filled, which is why I think you probably are able to guess what this might be. But this guy is what the whole draft was built around, and what I am so excited to try to use well. I do emphasise that because it's kind of untested in GBA. In Draft League or anything. I think someone's used it in the GBA before, but in other Draft Leagues, people may be using it. I'm just not aware of that. I'm sorry if you've been using it in a Draft League and I'm not aware of it. But I'm really excited to look into it because I haven't really seen many people use it successfully. So that is the one Pokemon we have all been waiting for, is Mega Blastoise. And that is because, for loads of reasons, I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. I've used him in a number of different places, like on the Smogon ladder, in VGC and stuff. He's really good. A massive offensive threat with amazing stats, that huge special attack stat, and Mega Launcher as well. Mega Launcher is so cool because what it gives it is basically 4 stab attacking types, which is crazy, seeing as though he's a water type with only 2 weaknesses. So that's pretty great. That's something that's really cool. The fact that he's got so many powerful attacking options is great for league format because you can just pick whichever ones are great going from week to week. I can make him bulky and he'll still hit like a truck, and again, he's got the rapid spin option, probably one of the most reliable rapid spinners in the entire game. Ghosts cannot switch him because he has a Dark Pulse, so you are probably going to get that rapid spin off, and that's why he pairs up so well with Talonflame. It's a bulky water type that I had not got until this stage, and that fits well with, I've got a grass type and a fire type, so if you want a conventional grass, fire, water core, I have got that. He's just so cool. I love Blastoise. I can't wait to try him out. The only thing is that his speed is middling, which is not brilliant for an offensive threat. He does have the bulk to compensate, but no reliable recovery, which is why I've emphasized in this entire draft, I've emphasized support mons. And that's why I went Jirachi over Latios, because Jirachi is going to give Blastoise better supporting options, in my opinion, than Latios. Latios is more offensive, and if Jirachi had been a Latios, it would have been a less bulky team. I need the other members to be able to switch in on things. So yeah, that's how my mind was working. I hope that all makes sense to you. I am so excited with this draft. Definitely not how I intended it in the first place. It's very different from my initial plans. My initial plans I feel I'd probably be more comfortable with, but I may not have as much fun, and this team is much more able to surprise, I think. There are probably people who aren't ranking this team very highly because it's different and untested and scary. If you're going to put your money down on something, it may well not be this team. But that's what I like to do. I like to go under the radar. I like to be a bit of a dark horse, an underdog. We'll see. But that is Mewcastle United. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let me know your opinions on what I've drafted and how you think I will do. Any tips on strategies that I might miss or that would be really cool to try out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to interacting with you guys, hearing your comments and everything. I've been Foofoo, you have been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Bye.